Adoption forms, where can you find them? Is there such a thing as one size fits all adoption forms that you can just print out online and use for yourself? Can you do an adoption without an attorney? Well, in this video, I'm going to answer all those questions, so stay tuned. For the best adoption advice, subscribe to my channel and be sure to hit that bell button so that you can be notified when I post a new video every Wednesday. Hi, my name is Lucrece Bundy. Welcome to my channel. I am an adoption attorney and I have helped a lot of families complete their step-parent adoptions successfully. I've even written an ebook talking about the process. So yeah, now it's your turn. So where can you find step-parent adoption forms? Well, there are a lot of websites out there that claim to give you step-parent adoption forms if you give them some information. I have not been to any of those websites, so I don't know how accurate they are. What I do know is that there's a lot of different states that do offer adoption forms to families, and they can just fill it out and send it in. And I'm not sure all that it entails, but I know that there's other states like Washington, for example. I know that they do have adoption forms for families. However, here in Nebraska, that's not the case because every adoption is unique and different. And I want to give you guys just a quick video about just 2 reasons why I would be really cautious about going on a website and printing out adoption forms. Reason number 1, a step-parent adoption is essentially the termination of the constitutional right of someone, their ability to parent their child, and another adult steps in that role as a legal parent. So you can imagine when you're dealing with terminating somebody's constitutional rights, you want to make sure that that's done properly and legally so that it doesn't keep the door open for that person to come back and try to annul the adoption. That's the number 1 reason. The second reason why I'm very leery on websites that say that they will give you separate adoption forms is because in my experience as an adoption attorney, every family that comes through my door has a very different situation. So let's take example number 1. Bio dad and bio mom were not married when they had the kid. Okay, now they're no longer together. Bio mom is now married and her husband wants to adopt the child. That's a very different scenario than bio mom and bio dad were married. They had the child and now they're divorced and mom is now remarried and her husband is adopting the child. Though in those 2 situations, the step-parent adoption forms that are required will look very different. And not only that, if there's a child support or child custody order that's been entered by a judge here in Nebraska, that adds to the process because that judge has to also agree to the adoption. Now, you can make the matters a little bit complicated if the biological dad was not on the birth certificate when he had the child. He and the mom had the child is what I mean, then that process looks a little bit different. And throw in there, bio dad does not want to agree to the adoption. He's completely against it and he's going to fight it. That changes things, okay? And I mean, I can keep going. Let's say that the child custody or child support order was entered in another state and now you're here in Nebraska, that process will look different. So because of my experience doing so many step-parent adoptions and seeing all of these different situations, my adoption paperwork is never the same for all of my families, again, because their situation is different. Those are the 2 reasons why I am really skeptical about websites that promise to give you just like a blanket step-parent adoption form and they just need your information, they'll give it to you. My advice would be to make sure that you talk to an attorney at least when you get those forms and make sure that they look right before you use them. Because again, you don't want to file something in court and the judge says, nope, like they don't agree to it because you did it wrong. And even if it goes through, you don't want later on for your adoption to be annulled because it wasn't done properly. Now, if you're still looking for a way to stay on budget and you just don't want to spend a lot of money on attorneys, I mean, it's worth it for you to spend money on attorneys to get your step-parent adoption done. But one thing that you could do to talk to your attorney is about doing like a pay-as-you-go type services where maybe your attorney just does the paperwork for you and then you go to court and you do the hearing all by yourself. You can kind of work it out to say, okay, attorney, help me do this, A, B, C, D, and I'll do E, F, G. And your attorney can let you know if they think it's a good idea for you to do that or not. But that could be a way that you can negotiate fees a little bit if your attorney is willing. So that would be my advice. So to give you a good head start on step-parent adoptions, like I said earlier, I wrote an ebook explaining the process from start to finish. So you can click the link below to get access to that video. It's free. Now, if you like this video, make sure that you click that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share with your friends, anybody who you know who is looking into step-parent adoption. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.